ask a question directly on camera. We'll be getting into that probably in the second half of our program today. For the first half, we have a nice treat here. We have a meditation that we recorded and with this week with some interesting images that we can perhaps start with. Karen, do you have anything to say before we get into the meditation?
Well, I did the meditation a few days ago. I taped it in your RV with the cats running around. So that was interesting. So I never heard the final thing. Well, production, whatever you want to call it. So I'm
great. It's the unveiling. So if we can all just get in a comfortable place, if we can sit and quiet ourselves. This is a guided meditation recorded by Karen Noe. And there are some visuals, but really it's meant to be eyes closed. So feel free to enjoy it however you'd like. Garth, let's take it away.
Thank you for joining us today for this global healing meditation. May we finally see past the illusion of separateness from others and from God. Now is the time to use our magnificent power to send healing to our beautiful planet so that it'll return back to its true state of perfection. We all have the power of God within us. The only difference between miracle workers and those who are not is that the miracle workers remember who they are and what they can do. That's it. We chose to incarnate at this time to be present during the awakening of a new, higher state of consciousness. Who would have thought that being in isolation would enable us to more fully experience our connection to everyone and everything? The whole world had to remain quiet in order for us to feel and witness this connection to God, to each other, to all animals, all of nature, to the world. All who have tapped into your higher selves are finally able to understand this now. Okay, let's all quiet our thoughts and go within so that we can fully experience this beautiful transformation on our planet taking place. As we join together, let each one of us send our love and light and healing to each other and to the earth. Are you ready? Okay, close your eyes and take a nice deep breath in with a count of 4. Hold it for a count of 4. And then let it out like a sigh of relief with a count of 4. Let's do that again. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 2, 3, 4. Good. Now focus on your breath for a few minutes. And if your mind wanders, that's okay. Go back to focusing on your breath. Okay, here we go. And as you are focusing on your breath, imagine sending loving, healing energy to our beautiful planet and to everyone and everything on it. Let's do this for a few minutes. Now is a good time to say a short prayer for those who are ill with the virus and other diseases. Let's see them completely healed, loved, and protected. Let's send our prayers out to all who have transitioned at this time and to their living loved ones. May they feel the magnificent peace of God now and always. Let's send prayers to all essential workers that they are safe as they continue to help all those around them. Sending prayers for all those who are working from home. May they accomplish all they need to, and if they have family with them, to enjoy and appreciate being in each other's presence. Sending prayers for those who aren't receiving any income at this time. May all their needs be met easily and effortlessly. Let's say a prayer for ourselves, that we remain healthy, safe, and at peace during this time and always. And finally, may the earth and all of its inhabitants be restored in our awareness back to its true state of perfection. And when you're ready, you may open up your eyes and become wide awake, remembering all that we have experienced. And know that everything we've envisioned in this meditation has indeed come to pass. Angel blessings to you.
Yay. So thank you all for joining us here. The importance of meditation now, boy, cannot be underscored enough. As we're collectively awakening on this earth, in this existence, the meditation allows it to just come so much more gently. So thank you, Mother Karen, for leading us through this.
Thank you for doing the music and the visuals. First time I saw it. Great job.
Well, you provide the original recording, so we'll include the link to this recording and perhaps the meditation in our
Sure.
actually it'll be on the replay page. Karen's saying Karen Gordon
Karen, yes.
page, so check the replay page. The importance now, Karen, Mother Karen, that I believe that it's reassuring for us to hear now. I have been fortunate enough to be raised with your perspective and your knowledge, your wisdom, knowingness of the eternal nature of ourself. Now, in this time where there seems to be a lot of loss of ways of life, loss of loved ones, and so forth, could you please just share with us how you see this and what it really means when we lose a loved one, for the loved one and for the person that's still here?
Okay, for the, just so that everyone knows, without a doubt, the essence of who we are continues after the physical body dies. I know that without a doubt, and my wish is for everyone else to understand that too. It doesn't mean we won't miss their physical presence, because when my mom passed, I miss her a lot. But she's been giving me lots of without a doubt signs that we could talk about. And, you know, I tell everyone to, after your loved one passes, and I've had a lot of people in my life recently who have lost their mothers or their fathers, father-in-laws, and I just continue to tell them, talk to them, because they can hear you. You know, and the most important thing is to listen to what they're saying. And most people say, okay, I'm talking to them, but how do I know what they're saying? Well, they're talking to us as thoughts. Most people expect to hear an audible voice that comes in, and says, hello, I'm here. But they don't have a physical body. So they speak to us as thoughts, telepathically. And the thoughts will come as, a gut feeling to do something all of a sudden, or a thought will just pop in your head for no reason. You'll be walking and all of a sudden something your mother, father, sister, brother said to you when they were in the physical body just pops in your head. That's the way they're speaking to you. So honor that. And that, see, most people get annoyed. They say, what's the matter? They're not talking to me. And I say they are talking to you. You just have to listen to the way they are talking to you. And you also have to raise your vibration so it's more on par with the energy of who they are. Now we all have God within us. We all have a very high vibration, which is only love and peace. But we're in the physical body, we tend to lower our vibration. We tend to look at things that are not right and negative things, and that lowers our vibration. We get angry, we get upset, afraid, and so forth, and that raises our vibration. So we're not on par with the energy of our loved ones. So when we're able to raise our vibration, which more on par with their energy, we'll be able to connect with them and hear what they're saying. A great way to do that is through meditation, because praying is talking to God and the angels, but meditating is listening, right, Tim? I tell you that all the time. We meditated before this event. If we talk all the time and not listen, that's not a really good relationship. And the same it is with our loved ones, with God. So what I do every time I have an appointment, or what the intention is there of connecting with a deceased loved one, I quiet my thoughts. But the most important thing is that I'm not expecting a message during that meditation. Because if I'm expecting a message, that's not true meditation. Meditation is emptying your thoughts if you can. Focus on your breath, any way you have to do, to empty your thoughts. I hope you're following me. And then the messages will come later on in the day, because now I'm tapped into their energy. Does that make sense, Tim?
Of course. So where does grief lie on the vibration scale?
It's, first of all, I tell everyone to honor what they're feeling. So that's a good question. But of course, grief is very low on the scale. And if we're grieving, and rightfully so, if we've lost a loved one, I'm not saying don't grieve, not at all. I'm saying to honor your feeling, feelings and take as much time as you need to grieve. Some people take a long time. Some people grieve, quickly. And I see your cat over there. But to trust and honor yourself. How many of you out there, like you've lost a loved one, you're expecting a sign from your loved one, but a friend of a friend of a friend says, "Oh, I dreamt of your loved one." And you're saying, "Why didn't I?" Well, the reason is because the friend of a friend of a friend is not grieving as much as you are. So they're tapped in more to their energy, to their higher level energy, so they could relay the message back to you. Again, I'm not telling you not to grieve. It's important to honor your feelings. And then after you grieve and you're ready to move on, then there are different techniques that you could use to help you to raise your vibration and to help you to feel better. And we talked a little bit about that 2 weeks ago with tapping and Reiki and prayer and meditation, Ho'oponopono, and so forth.
What if somebody is maybe beyond grieving and willing to receive? We have a chat saying, I've been asking for this, and it seems like they're not showing up. What would you recommend?
Well, first of all, I would give them time. If they just pass, sometimes it takes a little bit of amount of time. Sometimes they give you signs right away. If you're not tapped into their energy and you're grieving a lot, you won't hear their messages, but that's okay. There are other ways to receive messages from them. You could ask them to come to you in a dream, but to wake you up after the dream so that you remember it. Because if you dream all night, they may come to you first thing, you fall asleep, you dream all night, and you'll wake up and you won't remember it. So ask your loved one to come to you in a dream and wake you up after the dream so you remember it. And be patient and wait. And I promise you, the dream will come when you least expect it. Now, it's important to know that there are two different types of dreams for our loved ones, deceased loved ones. One is a true visitation from them, and one is a dream from your subconscious. And it's important to know the difference, because a dream from your subconscious would feel sometimes very bad. Something that's going on in your subconscious. Maybe you're trying to resolve issues. Maybe you were angry at them. They were angry at you, and you're trying to resolve these issues. And they're mad at you in the dream, or they're in a coffin. I promise you, that would not be them coming to you in a dream. When they come to you in a true visitation, you would wake up and know, you'll feel like you've won the lottery. So that's one way of receiving messages from your loved one. Another way would be to ask them to give you a without a doubt sign to let you know that they're with you. And then again, be patient and wait, and the sign will come when you least expect it. And there's many different types of signs. And we could get into that, Tim, but I'm talking too much. I'm not allowing you to speak.
You're not talking too much. This is our hour here. So just a couple of things from chat. The same person who has said, I've been asking for signs, says that, I saw my godmother before she passed in a vivid dream. She was above my head whispering. I feel she was telling me she would be leaving, and she passed 2 weeks ago. So yes, I think I can speak.
We leave our physical body when we know it's about time to leave, whether it be a few days before and so forth. If you're in a coma, chances are you're leaving your physical body. So that sounds like she was indeed following, letting you know that she would be passing, but also letting you know that she's totally okay. And
You're right. Yeah.
She could hear you, I promise you. But ask her to give you a sign to let you know she's with you. Signs will come in so many ways, whether it be they use their energy to come through in an animal, a bird, a ladybug, a butterfly, dragonfly, and the animal would do something that it normally wouldn't do, such as peck at your window or scream at you and so forth. Or they will come to you, you'll see the same numbers over and over, or you'll smell them, or you'll find pennies or dimes or feathers, or I could go on and on. They play with electricity and so forth. So the most important thing is to be patient and wait, and the signs will come when you least expect it. That's the key. Be patient, and when they're ready, they will do that for you. And you're not bothering them. Because think about it. If you were them and they were still here on the physical plane, and they wanted to know if you were okay, would you be upset about that? Of course not.
Of course. And certainly the dream, if you to make a habit or to get in the pattern of writing down our dreams makes it a lot easier makes it a much easier avenue for people for communication through dreams.
Yes.
So we just keep a book next to our beds.
It seems to work too, Tim. A lot of my clients, I tell them to write on a piece of paper next to their bed, dear mom, please come to me in a dream tonight and wake me up, and then put it next to your bed. It's something about the energy of writing it down right before you sleep, expecting it, and then, letting it happen.
It's written. Once we write it down, it's written. So there's a power. I'd also like to just share one of our chats. Francesca says, my computer turned itself off just as we finished the healing prayer. We must have put a lot out a lot of energy. So
it was very powerful. All of you out there, I felt your love and your light. So thank you so much for contributing to this healing energy. I also see a message from Matison. I hope I'm saying it right. It says, how do our pets communicate with us when they transition? Same way as our living people, loved ones. They come through in dreams. They give us signs. Sometimes I even feel, I had a bulldog who was blind, and when I'm in bed, he used to sleep with me. Sometimes there's a little indentation in my bed. It's not my imagination. It's truly Benny. So I would say, ask your pets to come to you too, and they will be with you.
They are. We have a question in chat asking, Tim, have you inherited the same gifts as your mother? Now, I feel it's important to note that this is, and Mother Karen, you can expand upon this. This is more of a skill to be refined than a gift. Just like playing the piano, and you can expand upon this, but it's like playing the piano. Some people maybe are more inclined to playing, but it's a skill to be refined and honed down. It really comes just with practice and dedication. So this is what we're speaking of right now, is a skill, not so much just someone has it or doesn't. We all have this capability.
That's the best way. It's perfectly put, Tim. We are all able to tap into this energy. I'm doing it all the time, so of course I'm able to do it more often. Just like somebody practices the piano, they could get better and better at it. The most important thing to do, if you're really willing to connect with your deceased loved ones and the angels and your deceased pets, and I see in the chat room it says, do our pets go to heaven? Yes, they do. They'll greet you when you leave your physical body. But if we learn how to do this, if we meditate regularly, keep our vibration high so it's more on par with their energy, and continually ask and expect to receive signs from them. In other words, don't say, oh, I never get this. Everyone else gets messages, but I don't. What happens is the law of attraction. When we're saying we can't do it, we won't be able to do it. I promise you, you can and you will. My purpose here on planet Earth is, well, we all have many purposes, but I love doing what I'm doing. I love receiving messages. But I believe my purpose is to empower you, all of you out there, to do what I do. So that was a great way of putting that, Tim.
Yes, and just for perspective, Karen holds, when everything is, when it is possible to hold classes, she holds classes at her center for communicating with deceased loved ones and so forth. And there's a whole certification process, and the whole group goes through it together, and we're often in the same.
You participated in that.
Sure, it's beautiful, and to be in the same where everybody is open and receptive and willing to be a part of this. There's a power that we didn't even realize existed. We think it's just our mind. We think we're making it up often, but it's.
But that's how the messages come, and that's the most important thing to realize. Notice the thoughts that pop in your head for no reason. See, the difference between a message from your loved one and your own thought is this. Your own thought will have, something will trigger a thought that will trigger another thought. Say you saw a picture of your mom. That'll trigger a thought, and it'll trigger a thought. That's you. But if you're walking along and all of a sudden something pops in your head of something that your mom said to you for no reason. In other words, after my mom passed, I'd be going for a walk, and I'd hear in my, not as an audible voice, but as a thought, hi, sweetheart. Well, I don't call myself sweetheart. My mom called me sweetheart. So I say, hi, Mom. See, when you realize what's happening and you could tune into their messages, they're going to be so excited because they're trying to talk to you as much as you're trying to talk to them.
Yes, and I just like to underscore the beauty of this, because all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but just in our awareness, loss takes a different meaning when somebody transitions. It's more of a transition than a loss, because just the knowing that we're still here, together, is comforting and just reassuring. And it's a much more pleasing outlook and rosier, shiny way of living.
Oh my gosh, it really is. And I know without a doubt that, we continue after the physical body dies, but I still miss my loved ones. I still miss my mom. So it's normal to grieve. It really is. So if you're grieving, don't despair. Allow your feelings, to come, don't stuff them down. That's the most important thing. If I may share something that uplifted me when Grandma passed, Tim.
Of course.
I said to my mom after she passed, I really need some signs to let me know that you're with me. And she gave me so many signs. Tim, which one should I share? Because there were so many.
The dream that when you wanted to hear her voice.
Okay. So after she passed, I said, Mom, I just need to hear your voice one more time. I need to hear your voice. Please let me hear your voice. Now, I know 5 minutes ago I said to you that they don't come to us as a physical voice, right? But I still said that to my mom. Well, I actually said that to my mom. I came home from work one day and I was very tired and I took a nap. And I had a dream of my mom, which was not a dream. It was absolutely a message from my mom. And in the dream, I walked into a crowded place and over the loudspeaker comes my mother's voice. And she said, I have an important announcement. I have an important announcement. I am okay and I love you. And in the dream, I knew it was my mom. It was not just a dream. And I said, Mom, oh, thank you so much. I love you so much. Who are you with? And she said something that I didn't understand. And I said, Mom, can you repeat that? I didn't understand what you said. And she said, Nanny, who was her mom. And with that, the phone rang, woke me up, thankfully, because then I was able to remember the dream. So I'm telling all of you out there, I'm sharing this because it does happen. But the most important thing to do is to be patient and wait. If it doesn't happen on the first day, just be patient. It may happen 3 months from now, a year from now, but your signs will occur. I promise you. And if your loved one was loud, they'll give you loud messages. If your loved one was quiet, they'll come through in the same manner as they did when they were here. So it's going to be a little bit more tough to receive their messages.
A bit subtler. And also, I know Teresa's joining us here. Teresa, this is the grandmother from whom I get my importance. Grandma had the very New Jersey accent, and she'd tell everybody they're very important. And so this is, she'd say this all the time. And so this is why she chose to say this in the dream. It's just so grandma.
Can you see her eyes in the dream one time too?
Yes. I had a dream that I was in a banquet, a big crowded hall, and then I saw my grandmother, the same person, and she was very small in stature, in physical. She would, if people would ask her how tall she was, she would say 5 foot almost. So she was like 4'10", and in the dream she was taller. And she was carrying some sort of tray of food, doing her job, and I saw her, and she had these icy blue eyes. And I said, she didn't see me, but I saw her, and I said, I knew I'd see those I'd recognize these icy blue eyes anywhere. And to her, her work was so important, and she dropped the tray, everything shattered, and she came and gave me a hug of just bliss, just the feeling of bliss in the hug, and I awakened from this. So
that was a good one. And I want to tell everybody who's listening, a lot of times in our dreams, they love to hug us. And you could actually feel, did you feel it, Tim? You felt her hug, right? So when you feel it,
it was bliss. Yeah.
You feel it as if it is real, because it is real. Right?
Yeah. It's right. It's the whole point of this without a doubt sign is that there's no doubt when it's experienced, whether it's in the dream or you see the the 16th penny in a row with the same date or so forth, in the moment, there's no doubt that this is a sign.
Put them in a jar because you'll remember, see how many pennies you're getting.
And it's without a doubt. Sometimes, retroactively we can question it, but we know in the moment that it's without a doubt. So it's just this is the without a doubt, and it's true. This is the most trustworthy thing that we have, is this knowingness, this without a doubt, right in the moment. This is my mother,
Right. So many things. We could talk about signs for hours. I have so many signs from my clients and so forth, but without a doubt, they love to give us signs. And how do they do that? People ask me. I don't know, but they're able to do it. They are able to do this. So again, it would be something that normally wouldn't happen, such as if a bird lands on you or a butterfly encircles you, something like that. If the lights go on when you're talking about your loved one, or the perfect song comes on at the perfect time with the words that you need to hear, and so forth.
I know I live with cats. I'm sure that we all sometimes see them flying all over the room here, and sometimes they'll come and sit on the keyboard, and just somehow magically a internet window will open up and play a song that's just so perfect for the moment. And so it's these things where sometimes it can be seen as something that's unplanned. This could be seen as, oh, the cat's, I have to stop this, but it's a sign. It's just being receptive to what comes through, even if it's not what we'd expect. Just to see what is brought forth, the receptivity to continue.
Some of these signs are just totally incredible. Sometimes it blows me away. It's, oh my God.
Yeah.
Banging on the window to get our attention.
Well, now, I think it's also important to note that, this clearly applies. I mean, your proof, you're showing us that this happens with our loved ones that are dearest to us. But you
don't have to be psychic to receive messages. That's the key. Let everyone listen to me. You don't have to be a psychic medium. We're all getting messages. All of my clients get signs and so forth. I see Denise is on this call, and I know she keeps getting messages from her husband. Hi, Denise.
Oh, Denise. So let's get to some of these questions here. We have a question: is a shift of cold energy around a sign?
Absolutely. That's their energy trying to get your attention. Absolutely.
Excellent. So Diane, and thank you for the question, Vangel. Diane asks, when I have dreams of my dogs that have passed, they are with me, and then I lose them, and I'm very upset in my dream, frantically trying to find them. Please help me with this.
I'm so glad you asked that question. That sounds like a dream from your subconscious. You're losing them in your mind, in your subconscious, within yourself. You're hurting so much and you're losing them. You lost them. You see the difference? You tell your dogs to come to you and wake you up after the dream. And when they come, they'll be running around. They'll be puppies again. You'll know, and you'll feel wonderful after a dream such as this. I know from my clients, from myself, our deceased loved ones, when they come back as the age they want to be remembered as. If they were older, they like to come back 35-ish for the most part. I hear that a lot. Children tend to grow on the other side, so they would be the age that they would have been. And the same with animals and our dogs. And they wouldn't be, if they couldn't walk when they were here, in your dream they would be walking. Or if they couldn't see, they'd be able to see, and so forth.
Yes. Full whole. Thank you. Well, we have a question from Heather, a comment and question. I missed my loved ones, people and fur babies. Have been asking for Snuggles to come. Haven't felt him. Feel guilty for the suffering that that all of them went through. My ultimate question is, how do I find peace inside when I am terrified that I won't ever see mom or her dog alive? I'm very ungrounded. It makes me want to be with my loved ones.
Okay, so your mom is still alive, and I'm assuming this has to do with, Heather, yes, I think we communicated via email. Your mom doesn't want to get the virus, so she's frightened right now. Is there a way to connect via Facebook or like this, like Zoom or something like that, you will see her again. I promise you. So don't be terrified. Don't put any energy into that. Okay. Just know that you're going to see your mother whole and safe, and the dog and so forth. And don't feel guilty about the passing of your pets, because they are able to see the bigger perspective and understand everything perfectly, and they're not suffering anymore. They're in total peace. I promise you.
Yes, it's kind of like if we were to all consider the question, do I believe that I'm on a Zoom call right now?
No, because we know it.
Right. It's not belief. Belief is, it's not about belief. We're on a Zoom call. We know it. I'm sitting here, So just as this, it's not a belief that this is true. It's a knowingness. After how much validation can we possibly get? It's just a knowing at a certain point.
Absolutely.
Really, since the beginning, it's what all wisdom is telling us. So we have some nice comments here. Chrissy says, many years ago, I was missing my grandma while I was on a road trip. I had to pull over to get gas. After I filled my car, the store owner gave me a Kit Kat bar and said everyone gets one with a fill. And the beautiful thing is, Chrissy says, my grandmother would always give me a Kit Kat bar when I would visit her. So hello, Grandma.
That sign from Grandma. Absolutely.
Exactly.
I love it. Those are the types of signs without a doubt. Even those who don't even believe in this or are not aware of it, they know. That was my grandma. That was my mom. Beautiful.
Yeah,
I love it.
Exactly. And I assume this was just there was no thinking that was involved. It was just, I'm going here to get gas, and this is it,
It's like what led her to get gas and get gas at that particular time, at that station and so forth. It was all part of the plan, right?
Orchestrated. And then being an active participant in it. So it's beautiful. Thank you, Chrissy. Tabitha asks, is it possible my dog feels my loved one's energy, yet I can't? He barks at my mother's room frequently, although there seems to be nothing there.
Oh, yes. Dogs and cats, they are very open to our loved ones and the angels because they're not questioning anything. They're very open to it. So oftentimes if you see your pet staring at you think is nothing, just say, hi, Mom. Hi, dog. Whoever's there. They're trying to let you know that they're with you.
Yes. Amen. So Kate asks, hi, Karen and Tim. Have you received any messages regarding the pandemic, its purpose, etc.? I'd like to just say something important here, that the pandemic is just a symptom of a much deeper going on right now, a much deeper awakening. This pandemic is just a symptom. It's an offshoot of this deeper, beautiful unfolding awakening that's happening. And the pandemic, maybe seems to be the face, maybe seems to be the cause of this, but there's a much deeper cause behind all of this. This global awakening that has been talked about for years and ages, it is happening right now. When in the history of the...
Oh no, Tim, you froze. It's an important thing.
When in our history have we all been holed up in our chrysalis, so to speak? When has this ever happened? This is a magnitude much greater than anything that has ever happened, and we're all collectively awakening at this point. This has been discussed before. It's been hypothesized. It's been maybe sought after. It's been achieved on an individual scale, but now it's a collective scale where we're all called to awaken. And because of this, because we're all focused on just rest and going within, that we have access to all of this divine guidance right now that's just coursing through the air, coursing through the cosmos, just awaiting for us, for our willingness to receive it. And so we're all called to rest now because there's a lot that we're being shown. There's a lot that we're being guided to do. And so it may be, it's not kind of like learning something. when learning, you need a lot of rest. When working out a muscle, you need to rest. And so we're called to collectively rest and ease into this awakening. I'm sure you.
That was perfectly said, Tim. That was exactly right. Yeah, and we chose to be here at this time.
Such a beautiful time to be here. You know, we often, I know.
I know it is a beautiful time to be here, but there are people who are saying, but I lost a loved one and I'm out of work, but take it from there. Go
Of
ahead.
course, and it's a changing time, and any major change is uncomfortable and comes with change, seeming loss, loss of a way of life, loss of a loved one, loss of anything really. It seems like a loss, but it's a change, and it's the knowingness, it's the will, the faith that what is real, what we're really going towards is something that's so beautiful and just written. That's just fate. That's just heaven on earth that we're just walking into right now. And this is the important thing to keep in mind. It seems like there's a chaos. You know, it's when we awaken into our bodies each morning, sometimes it's uncomfortable. You know, maybe we're sore in a certain spot. And the same sort of growth pains, awakening pains are being brought to us now. But we're awakening, and this is the time, and out of all of history that has led up to here, there have been some pivotal moments. There have been some major awakening moments on an individual scale, but we're at a point right now that is unprecedented, and we all, like you said, Mother Karen, we've all chose to be here now.
And it doesn't mean it won't be, it'll be easy. But to understand, we have to focus on raising our vibration back to our true state of perfection. And that's what this is all about.
Yes.
The vibration of our planet. So the best way to do that is you have to stay home, meditate, quiet yourself. It's the only way to do it, right?
And how beautiful that we're called into groups like this, where we're meditating, we're gathering in groups virtually, we're seeing through the illusion of the distance between us. We're brought together even though we're physically distant. We're meditating as groups, and just seeing a world awakening, bringing it more naturally. So
to understand our oneness more, we see now what one part of the country, how could it affect the other part of the country, the whole world. Now think of it in a different way, how our love can affect the whole world. If each one of us raises our vibration back to its true state of perfection, imagine our planet. It would be amazing. I'm focused on one of the messages over here, and it has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I'm feeling she really wants an answer. There was a Sue. She said, my child passed when he was 5, and would he be 20 when right now? Well, this is the thing, Sue. If he came through as a message, through a medium, he would probably come as 20-year-old, maybe as the age he was. But when you leave your physical body, he will come as the age you want to remember him by. So if you still want to remember him as the 5-year-old, he will, because in reality, we don't have a physical body on the other side.
Yes.
I know we changed the subject, but I just felt her energy.
Right on time. Let me just send a link. Please let us know how we can. The website is KarenNoe.com. So you can sign up for correspondence there. Let's see. Go through these. You know what? Let's see if somebody's raising their hand. I think we have some hands raised.
Somebody,
Yeah.
have a cute face over there.
Yeah,
Be brave. Raise your hand. We could see you. Come on.
we're bringing on a Karen.
Okay.
The third panelist, Karen. Hello, Karen. We're going to ask you to start your video. And
We just see a K. Oh, hey, Karen.
Oh, I was just saying hello.
Hi.
You said to raise your hand, so I raised my hand.
Oh, hi.
But,
Send you a big hug.
yeah, you too, and Tim too. I'm Ken's mom, Tim.
Oh, hey, Karen. Nice to meet
Tim,
you.
yes, nice to meet you too. Um,
Beautiful.
I met your mom many years ago when we worked at the Holistic Healing Center together. And I'm also a medium. And I'm the one who asked the question, do you have the same gifts as your mom? Because I know that all three of my sons, they have certain aspects of it, but they didn't really want to progress with it or anything. And I never got to progress, the same way as your mom. But, she's such a lovely person, that has been in our lives for a long time. And I just wanted to say, how nice it is to meet you. And, you have such great things to say. And I'm very interested, I'm so glad to see the two of you together and what you have to say together as a team. It's been great listening to both of you. And I just think it's lovely. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Karen. Have an amazing day.
Nice to meet you. We're returning our hugs. So let me do this here. We'll bring on another panelist. Why not? And thank you for joining us. Let's see. We have a Judy N that we're promoting to panelists. And sorry if we haven't gotten to your questions. There's just a whole bunch of chats and things that are going on right now. Let me ask Judy to start a video.
Oh, Judy, she emailed me before. I don't think she wants to come on a video, but she may want to talk.
Oh, okay. Well, can you hear us, Judy? Judy!
Judy, are you there?
We will put you on hold. We'll come back maybe.
I'm sending you a hug.
Oh, hold on here.
I see a foot on a deck.
Hello?
There we go.
It's Anna here. I didn't put my hand up. So I think maybe you called on me by accident, but I've been very much enjoying listening to what you're talking about, and I'm particularly interested in what you're saying about COVID and how it's part of this much bigger pattern and raising of consciousness. So there've been a lot of signs around that recently. So thank you for sharing that. I suppose if I do have a question, I'd be interested in your thoughts on how we can contribute to shifting that energy. I mean, meditation's one way. What other things can we do to actually help facilitate the shift of consciousness we're experiencing?
That's a great question, Anna. There's so many things that we could do. First of all, we have to work on ourselves, right? So meditating is, of course, listening to Source, to God, to everyone and everything. Another thing that's very important is forgiveness. If we need to forgive ourselves and everyone else. And I always use the same quote that Wayne Dyer used. It's not the snake bite that kills us. It's the venom that's left behind. So we hurt ourselves when we're unforgiving and we hold on to something. So that's a very important thing that we could do. What else, Tim?
Yes, well, meditation.
The eyes of others. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
What was that you said?
Seeing through the eyes of others.
Oh, sure. Of course, all of these practices, and I think meditation is really key right now. We're all called to meditate. Meditate as a group, specifically. If we come together, assemble as a group to meditate, there's a power. There's a focusing like a lighthouse compared to just a flashlight. And also just our devotion. If we set a daily devotion practice, whether it's reading sacred texts, or watching, these videos that are aligned with what we're called to watch. We all have it. We're all called in a specific way. It's just listening in, and I think meditation makes it clear. So thank you, Anna, for.
Thank you, Anna. Sending you a hug.
Yeah, no accidents here. So we have Judy back here. Oh wait, hold on. I think Judy is probably frozen at this point. All right, maybe Judy will come back. We're gonna bring. We only have 5 minutes, so let's see if we can get one more person on here. Safina.
I see, as you're getting the person on, I see Jody. Hank said, please discuss souls that died as a miscarriage. Well, they continue as well. They oftentimes, they come back as another baby if they decide to. If not, they certainly do continue after the body dies, and you will see them again.
And what about children that die early, die young, seemingly?
The same thing. You will see them again, I promise. They would probably be the age that you remembered them as, but if they come through a medium, sometimes they come as the age they would have been. So to understand that, and they're so wise, after you leave the physical body, you feel your oneness with everyone and everything. There's no more, like when we're in the physical body, oftentimes it feels that we're separate, even though we're not, right? But once you leave that physical body, you feel it in an instant. And so do our children and our loved ones. Hi, Safina.
Beautiful. Safina, I hope we're saying this correctly.
Yes, you are. Hi, Tim.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for joining us. Do you have a question or a comment?
A question. A lot of experiences of without a doubt signs from loved ones. I even became a medium organically. It was kind of a crazy day that started. Then I started doing courses. And I stopped progressing as a medium, and I'm not sure if I'm blocking myself or I'm being blocked because I should be going in another direction. So why would I be just hot? Never did it for money or anything. I don't think I have an issue with that, but yeah, not sure whether to just continue on that path, why it runs hot and cold. Is it lack of discipline or not my purpose? Yeah, that's my question.
I would tell somebody who comes to see me, within you, what do you think? Go within yourself. What do you think? Your higher self knows this. What do you think? Do you want to do this? Are you frightened of it?
I don't think I'm okay, so there has to be some element of fear. I would say that the fear would be confidence. I've tried it with clients sitting there. Sometimes if I'm in a group setting, for some reason, I seem to get a lot of messages. I can get names and all of that, lots of evidence. And then I'll have someone sitting there and then nothing happens. And I feel humiliation.
No, that's normal. What happens is you can't make somebody come through. It's up to them whether or not they want to come through. And the reason why you're able to receive it with a big group is there's so many energy there, right? So you're able to see something. There's so many people there, right? You can't say, I want Anna to come right now. You can't. It's just like when you want to invite them to your house. If they can't come, they can't. They're evolving, they're growing, they're doing something on the other side. So no despair. If you really want to do this, you can do it, and you will.
So is it just practice?
Don't give up and trust yourself. If you don't get it one day, it doesn't mean you cannot do it. It means the loved one is not there, or they're quiet, or the living loved one doesn't want to hear the message. Something like that.
And Mother, sometimes you don't ever guarantee that somebody comes through too.
No, but most of the time they do. But when they don't, it's not your fault, and it wouldn't be my fault. It's whoever's there. You can't. And the most important thing is don't make it up. Don't make it up because you're not getting it. Just be honest. No, well, I don't feel anything.
I've done that. I say I'm running cold. I'm just not getting anything. I'm so sorry.
Beautiful.
By the way, I love all your posts. I always repost your pictures.
Oh, thank you.
I'm an animal lover, so
yeah,
resonate.
I wanted to share a story about not receiving messages way back when I started receiving messages. This was in my first book, The Rainbow Follows the Storm. I was so nervous. I was just learning how to do this. And somebody came from a couple of hours to see me. At that time, they could make an appointment. Now I'm booked for 2 years ahead of time. But at that time, she came to see me and nothing. And I said, I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed. Come again. And when you feel guided, you come again. So she made an appointment a couple of months later. And first of all, I got messages the day before from some name was coming through. I was on the soccer field for my son, and somebody was already coming through. Little did I know it was for the next day, that woman. And as soon as she walked in, I saw Aunt Jemima. Do you know Aunt Jemima of pancakes?
Yeah. That's my generation.
I said, what the heck? The first thing I see is I get the name, and then I see Aunt Jemima, and she screamed at the top of her lungs, and she said, that's my friend without a doubt. And nobody would know that because my friend was in my grammar school, and Aunt Jemima was a real person and came to our school in a helicopter, and we all had breakfast together. She was saying,
Oh my
Aunt Jemima, don't despair when they're not there. They're not there. Can't help it.
So it's not a sign to move on. I'll continue. Okay.
Going, you're doing well. Trust yourself.
Okay.
All
Trust
right.
myself. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sophia. So, thank you for all the guests that have joined us today. Thank you, Mother Karen, for joining us for a minute or two after. Do you have any closing thoughts for our audience here? Just our lovely group of people that are gathering in conscious willingness.
Oh, there's so much to say. I wish I had more time to talk, but understand the most important thing to know is because we're talking about this on Humanities Team, we are all one. There's no division. And after you leave the physical body, you'll feel that in an instant. And the reason why after you pass, you go through a life review where you're able to see and feel how you've affected the other person as if you are the other person. And the reason is because you are the other person. And oftentimes I hear messages of regret from those who've passed, saying they should have told their loved ones how much they love them, but now it's too late. They should have forgiven their loved ones, and now it's too late. They should have asked forgiveness, and now it's too late. They should have treated themselves with the respect they deserve because they see how they treated themselves, and now it's too late. They're still in a place of complete peace and love. It's just that understanding, so know that they still are in heaven. But the reason why I'm saying this is why do you have to wait until it's too late to see the bigger perspective? Try to see through the eyes of others now. Forgive those who hurt you. Ask forgiveness for those you hurt. Treat yourselves with the respect that you deserve because you're just as important as everyone else. And tell everyone how much they mean to you now. And you'll create peace now in your life and in their lives as well. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you. Love you all and God bless.